Good afternoon. Welcome to the Military Food Bank's Link2Feed training. Just want to give you first an overview of how we're structuring this. My name is Tyler Herman. I am the Manager of Agency Relations and Programs, and I'm joined here by Nick Amos. He is our data analyst and sort of tech geek guru, all things technical. So we're going to be doing the first sort of recorded training to provide a overview of Link2Feed, sort of what's coming down the pike over the next 15 months here at the food bank. I'm sure you've been in discussions with your partner service coordinators about onboarding to Link2Feed, what this is going to mean for your agency and our broader work. So the purpose of today is to provide sort of an overview of benefits, touch briefly on the software, and then go into a demo where we're going to do sort of a mock client intake. And Nick is going to interview me as the client. We're first going to do what it's going to look like for a client who's coming back in after they've already been entered into the system, to show how streamlined the process is, how simple it is, how quick it is, and thus what kind of a more meaningful experience that is for the client. And then we're going to dive a little deeper into the actual intake process and show you the questions, the formats, and again, the simplicity of the system. So for those of you who aren't yet familiar with the system, Link2Feed, it's a cloud-based platform. There are several that are being launched across the country that are sort of in competition to gain the eyes of food banks and food pantries and food assistance networks. And food banks spent a lot of time with our board, with our senior management team, and people across the organization sort of vetting each of these different platforms, and really landed on Link2Feed for its ease of use. So it's very user-friendly. It's a very intuitive software, has phenomenal reporting features that we'll go into in a bit. And the primary driver is that this is going to improve the experience for clients to provide a more dignified experience as they're doing intake. And I'll get into those benefits in a bit, but just a little more on the software, providing real-time information. So if your pantry is looking to make take a lens into what you're doing that month, what your results are, what your impact is, you'll be able to see it that day. There's no additional compilation of data for analysis. It's all ready within the system right after that person has had a service provided. Overall, it's going to increase our network's efficiency and communication, really going to allow us to understand the true need. Right now, we understand we're serving about 105,000 individuals each month, but we don't know within that number how many of those clients are unduplicated. So how do you get a gauge into what the real trends are and how food assistance is changing without having that unduplicated count? So that's going to help all of us from the pantry level to the food bank to Feeding America at the top. Super secure system. It's got the same encryption security as your online banking. Everything's gathered in from the whole network and collectivized into one area. And like I said, the food bank is very, very excited to see this going forward, primarily to see the improvements that's going to mean for the clients and what that means directly in your agency on how it's improving things for volunteers that are doing intake and allowing you to free up time to really focus on what you do best, which is improving your services to meet the needs of people in your community. So diving into the benefits, again, the primary driver is the client. It's a one-time intake. So currently, every individual, every family who's food insecure and poverty has different needs based on their relative situation. So for some, that might be mean going to a pantry once a month to get supplemental food, where we also know that through the Hunger in America study, 58% of our clients rely on food assistance services, your pantries, as their primary source of food. So some of them are going to multiple pantries each month, where some might offer USDA or produce at one or shelf-stable foods at another or meat at another. They're visiting multiple pantries to meet their family's individual unique needs. So currently, as they go to those individual pantries, there's different intake processes. They're having to reveal different information, and from that client's perspective, that's very inefficient as they're trying to balance working multiple jobs or having their child in daycare when they go to the pantry or borrowing a neighbor's car to get there. So the more we can simplify that process, the better experience it is for their clients, the more likely they're going to come back and again, just improve that relationship and service for them. Better food and services. You'll see within one of the sections of the intake process, there's asking about dietary considerations. So whether people are allergic to tree nuts or gluten or have certain dietary considerations, whether it's for diabetes or cardiac related health. We know that a large percentage of our clients are diet related diseases. So having an understanding of that And being able to see that at the aggregate level of those trends at your agency, you can say maybe, oh, 30% of our clients have a gluten allergy. That's going to inform how you're sourcing food, how the food bank is sourcing food, and getting more appropriate, better, more nutritious foods that are appropriate to their specific, unique dietary or cultural needs to those clients. So better food and services, increased resources, and I think for me that's really the referral. So the more you know about their client, the more you know about the subgroups of individuals that are coming to your pantries, like individuals with disabilities or veterans or whatever the individual metrics that we're tracking within the system. It allows you to refer them to other organizations and agencies in your community to, again, provide better resources to create that household stability where we can lift families up, lift communities up as we proceed. And it's a highly confidential as well. So currently with paper intake, paper can be in files or a banker's box or in a file cabinet. So the ability for other people to access that information or for it to be lost, there's a much higher chance on paper. So this is all in a secure cloud. So better confidentiality for clients. As for your partner agencies, service insight, again, understanding the evolving trends of people's dietary needs or the evolving trends of who's visiting your organization allows you to think more strategically about where you're going to be heading over the coming months and years and how we can collectively address food insecurity as it evolves with changes in the economy or changes in the political scene. Again, very secure, 128-bit encryption, or maybe that's 256 encryption. So very, very secure, like your online banking. It's very, very convenient. Again, a streamlined system. Everyone's using the exact same intake. It's all uniform, and once people become familiar, very user-friendly. And again, those intakes go quicker and quicker, and the subsequent visits where people are coming, it's even faster. So being able to take less time for doing client intake and more on that relationship side with your clients, more on focusing on the foods you're providing a better experience for those individuals coming in. And that'll ensure that they keep coming back in times of need. And one thing especially important for people at the agency manager level are the powerful reporting and communication tools. So being able to really analyze the trends of what you're seeing among your clients, being able to export that into reports or grant applications in streamlined, efficient ways. So we really see these as the big benefits, and that's why we're moving forward with this system. Again, easy intake. The paperless process, I think, will be a huge perk for everyone. Like if you're doing TFAP, right now, all the SDI forms that you're having to store in banker boxes and files for multiple years, the monthly reports you're submitting to the food bank, that all is completely eliminated. The only thing you would have to keep reporting on is if you're a TFAP agency would be your quarterly inventory report. Otherwise, everything is real time in the system. When that client shows up for a service, it automatically is in the cloud, and your agency as well as the food bank can analyze that. So reporting is gone. Automated compliance for your federal programs. You've got the ability to do all your signatures in there, all your eligibility for the programs, and the brilliance of this program is that it auto-tabulates income. So you don't have to sit there and look back at that eligibility matrix of income per household. It's going to tally it for the whole household, tell you whether that individual is eligible. So it takes the thinking out of wondering whether someone is eligible to access food. Another cool thing is multiple program tracking. So there are some standard programs on there that will load, but it's also up to the individual needs of your agency. So if you do a clothes drive, or in the winter you're doing a special Christmas food box drive or turkey drive, or maybe Toys for Tots, if these are all individual programs that you have at your organization, we can create sort of mini programs within Link2Feed to track that so that all of your information is one central spot that you can use to analyze. And then lastly, there's tools for case management, if that's something that your agency is interested in, like using a notes tab to record what might be happening that you learn about in that client's life. Like if you hear the person's mother is at the hospital, it allows for better relationship building. You can make that as a note, check in with her mother on the next visit. Or allow you to support the other client's needs, like referral to other organizations. There's even something in there that allows you, if you want to focus on financial accounting and teaching basic budgeting skills, there's a spot in there that you can enter expenses as well to work on that. That's obviously not a requirement, but it's a benefit within the system that's there for you if you need it. We're not going to really get into this during the demo today, but I just wanted to touch briefly on it because it's definitely a perk for your agencies, is the graphic reporting. So there's several customizable reports that you can do, and you can have them set on a recurring basis, so they're just sort of kicking out to your email weekly, monthly, that you can use to analyze trends or to send to your board members or to your volunteers to keep them abreast as to the impact that you're having. So just allowing for richer storytelling can be used in a variety of ways to attract volunteers to your mission, to acquire funding through donor appeals or solicitations or grant funding. So just a powerful tool to improve how you're communicating the impact of the mission of your organization. And these are sort of just a brief overview of what kind of options there are. So statistics reports, all the various metrics that you're going to see and the questions that we're going to run through during the intake, you can run individual reports to look at those metrics individually, or you can even cross-tabulate them through the interactive household report. I think the one that we're most excited to see is the heat report. You can basically see a map of your service area or multiple counties to see where individuals that are accessing services at your site are living and coming from. Right? This not only allows you to see where maybe you want to do additional outreach if you're having a special program or offering. It also works for referral as well. If you see maybe you're on the south side of a county and you know there are pantries on the north side and you see clients coming from the north, it allows you to refer them to resources that might be closer to their house. So again, all these different components of the software really are just focused on improving the client's experience, getting more resources to them, trying to work toward building that household's stability through increased service provision, and providing powerful tools for you to take a deeper dive into what the impact of your organization is and how you can use this data and these metrics to inform your strategic planning going forward to better address hunger. So we're going to now dive into the demo part of training. And again, we're going to start off with what it's going to look like if a client comes back in and they're already in the system. And then after that, we'll dive more into the actual overall intake.
Hey folks, I appreciate you tuning in here. We had a little technical difficulties with broadcasting live. We have broken the internet, we're not quite sure, but we've got our trusty backup recording here coming at you, and that way you'll be able to forward this on to anybody and have them tune in at their leisure. So this is going to be a real broad strokes overview. Our training, when you are at the point of getting onboarded, our training for this lasts anywhere between 2 and 3 hours for most folks as we get familiar with the system. But for those of you that are still anywhere between 14 and 4 months out in terms of getting on this thing, we knew you wanted to take a look at it and see what's going on. So that's why we are here today. And we're going to be working in the test server today. That way we don't break anything important. But as a pantry user, you're always going to go to the same website. Every user is going to have an individual login that is their own email address and individual password. So they're log in and select your organization. So folks at our level at the food bank that have some responsibilities over a number of pantries will have a number of options here, but your average Joe that is doing data entry and intake at a pantry, they're only going to see one option here, so there's not much to worry about there. They're just going to hit continue to continue. So this is the ground zero intake screen for Link2Feed. This is where you're searching for clients. You can see my cursor defaulted to being in my search box here, so I can search for clients. You can see it defaulted for me to search by name as well, because that's the most accurate way for us to find, so we're not entering duplicate clients, is to search by name. you'll see up here we got a little announcement section, and most of the time you see an announcement there, that's going to be from Link2Feed, right? Telling you about version upgrades and things of that nature. But what we're planning on demoing here is what we're going to go through now is two scenarios. So our first scenario here, just to show you the rapidity at which you can record that food was distributed, is we're gonna have a client that's already been to a pantry within our region come back for another visit. So here we go. Hi sir, thank you for coming in today. Could I get your name please?
Yeah, it's Bob Henderson.
Okay, so Bob Henderson. Let's see what I got. Okay, Bob. Could you give me your birthday, please?
Yep, it's July 3rd, 1984.
All right, got you in here, sir. So we'll get rolling. Draw up your profile information here. Let's see. Excuse me, Bob. My internet is working a little bit slow today. We will get rolling here, though. All right. Has anything changed since your last visit? I'm going to give you a little bit of info here, and you tell me if any of this info has changed since your last visit. I'm showing that. Are you still at 32 Law Hill Drive?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And has your income changed from that part-time job you told us about?
Nope, still doing that.
Okay. And looks like your child is the only other household member I have listed. Is that still correct?
Yeah, Jenny still lives with me.
All right. Very good, very good. So we will just get rolling here, sir. I'm going to just call up one last screen and we'll have you on your way. Okay, Mr. Henderson, do you mind sharing with me what brought you in to see us today?
Yeah, I was in the hospital, so medical bills are higher this month, and that's sort of, I'm stretching to make ends meet.
All right, sir. Well, I'm glad that we can be here to help you out, and thank you for sharing that with me. Okay. All right. We are just going to have you sign here on this white screen here, and then we'll have you on your way. Okay. Appreciate that, sir. All right. That's all of the intake process that we need to do. We're going to go get you some food there. And that is it, folks. That is it for recording a return visit. Even if you have really slow internet like I do and you've got phones ringing off the hook and all that jazz, 30 seconds, a minute, something like that, and you're going to have those people in and out, even if you're editing a bit of that info, right? Address, income, things of that nature. Very, very simple, very simple.
And one thing I didn't mention sort of in the opener is that this is going to be at the network level. All 202 pantries are going to be on board in the next 15 months, and clients are also at the network level. So if a client is going to a pantry in your community, there's multiple pantries, they already be in the system because they've been brought into the system at that other pantry, and then they're able to access any partner agency within our network already in the system, and you just go to that services tab. So once more and more agencies get on board or clients are being entered, again, it just further streamlines, so you're spending less time doing this process that we're going to be showing you now.
Right. So the goal is a client only sits down for intake one time within any county that we're serving here at the food bank network level, and once a year they'll recertify their information, but they're only sitting down for intake one time. So we're going to show you real quick here. I'm not going to go into detail like I normally do in a full-on training, but we'll go through here pretty quick and show you what a new intake looks like for a client that is not in the system. All right, thanks for coming and seeing us today. Can I get your name, please?
It's Harry Potter.
Okay.
Not related to the book character.
Okay. Okay, sir. I'm going to get going here. I don't see you in the system, so I've got a bit of intake questions here to do. We'll be wrapped up before you know it, and we will get you on your way.
I appreciate that.
All right, sir. Is this your first time visiting us?
Yes.
Okay. And before we get started today, I just want to let you know that we're recording your information here in this Link2Feed system. Perfectly secure and encrypted information. Your name will never appear on any kind of report or anything like that. Is it all right if we continue here with recording your information?
Yes, sir.
All right, appreciate that. Okay. Could I get your date of birth, please?
Yep, it's December 23rd, 1952.
December 23rd. And your gender, please.
Male.
Okay. Okay, sir. Could you tell me your marital status, please?
I'm single.
Alrighty. Okay. And would you share your address with me, please?
Yep, it's 46 Edwards Avenue.
And what's the city?
Verona.
Verona. And what is your zip code?
24482.
Okay. And is that in Augusta County?
Yes.
Okay. All right, sir. And that address, do you rent, do you own, are you staying with family and friends, or something else like that?
It's public housing.
Okay.
Section 8 housing.
Okay. Okay, sir. Do you have an email address or a phone number that you'd like to share with me?
Yeah, I can give you my phone number.
Okay.
It's 540-213-8407.
All right, appreciate that. And could you tell me the primary language or languages spoken in your home?
Yeah, we speak English and Church Slavic.
Okay. Okay. And I'm going to read through a list of ethnicities and races, and could you tell me all that apply only to you? We're going to ask some questions about anybody else in the household, but this would be only you. So I'm just going to read the list, and you let me know any that apply to you. White Anglo.
Yes.
Black African American.
Nope.
Hispanic Latino.
Nope.
American Indian.
Nope.
Asian.
Nope.
Alaskan Native.
No.
Middle Eastern North African.
No.
Pacific Islander.
No.
Are there any others that I didn't mention?
No.
Okay. All right, sir. Last question here on this page. This last question is not really a question. It's a list of several categories, and I'm going to read them off, and I'd just like for you to let me know if any of these apply to you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and skip these pregnancy questions here for you, and we'll move on to this other part of the list. Disability.
Yes.
Okay. New immigrant.
Nope.
Veteran.
Yes.
Refugee or evacuee.
Nope.
Mental illness.
No.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, is it just you in the household? Is there anyone else in the household?
Well, sometimes my stepdaughter stays with me from time to time.
Okay, is she with you right now?
No.
Okay, so we're just gonna leave that, and if you come back in and she is staying with you, then we can add her information at that time. Okay, sir, there's a couple of questions on this page. You mind telling me the highest bit of schooling that you've attended?
Yeah, I have an associate's degree.
Okay. And are you employed right now?
Yeah. Working a few part-time jobs, a couple rotating shifts.
Okay.
Nothing regular though.
Okay. All right, sir. A little more info about your income there. You said you were working a couple of part-time jobs, so what I need to record here is your monthly income from all of that. And just a second here, we'll get this thing working. I'm going to do part-time employment. So about how much are you bringing in from your first part-time job per month?
Kind of depends on how many shifts I get, but it's probably somewhere between 700 and 730. I'd say maybe 720 a month.
Okay, 720 per month. And you said you had another part-time job as well, is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, and about how much do you bring in per month from that job?
So those are just real odd jobs that I can pick up, so it's only about 100.
Okay. All right, I have a list here of a number of programs that you may or may not be participating in, and I'm going to read through those and you let me know any that you are participating in. Aid to families with dependent children.
No.
Aid to the blind or disabled.
No.
The Children's Health Insurance Program.
No.
The CSFP program.
No.
WIC.
Nope.
Energy assistance.
No.
Medicaid.
Nope.
Section 8 rental assistance.
Yes.
Okay. Service-connected disability.
Yes.
Okay. And SNAP or food stamps.
Yeah, we're also getting food stamps.
Okay. And TANF.
No.
Okay. All right, sir. Got your income there. So we're going to proceed to the next section. Okay. This section is just any dietary considerations. So that's any health-related concerns you have, or any allergies in the household, anything like that that's going to restrict, the types of food that you can accept.
Yeah, my doctor just diagnosed me with diabetes, so he says I'm supposed to be eating healthy food, but I'm happy to see you guys give that here. We start eating it.
All right, very good, very good. All right, sir. We are done with the questions here. So I'm just going to open this one last screen and one more question. Do you mind telling me what brought you in today?
Just low income, so I'm really struggling to make it
Okay.
each month.
And all right, sir, we'll just get your signature here and we will be done. Okay, appreciate that. All right, sir, we are done. And that's what it looks like for, that was a pretty simple client, right? No household members, anything like that. But as you can see, very streamlined process there. It is, it's a bit of a process, 8 minutes maybe, especially for larger households, but it only happens once. So one time in the history of this system being implemented, well, you have to do a full-on intake. So you can change household configurations around, you can bring people into households, you can take them out of households, everything like that.
And there's going to be different options that the food bank will work with you to assess as to what will be the best onboarding process for you. Depending on how many clients you have come in and the frequency of those distributions, as well as the number of intake workers you're going to have. Maybe it makes sense to do live intake to the system. You've got the freedom to take a little longer to invest in those client individual intakes. Or maybe if there are a large group of people, you have some people filling out those questions on a paper form that you're then using to speed up the process, whether that's during that distribution or after the fact when you have downtime. But once people are in the system, it's very, very streamlined, very, very quick with how they're checking in. And again, from a client's perspective, making it the easiest we can is going to ensure a better experience for them, a trusting relationship, again, where they'll come back and access food at your pantry. So Nick's now just going to dive a bit into some of the reporting features.
All right, so this is live system data, so that's why I'm going to do the heat map here. That way we're not identifying any individual pantry numbers, anything like that. So this just folks served within the network, within places where we have pantries active. So this is a heat map that is specific to our region for clients that have been served and that service is recorded in Link2Feed. So you can see how powerful this is going to be for you, right? You'll be looking at the clients that have access to your pantry. So that's how our information is going to be siloed. Each pantry will only see the services and notes that they have created, so you're not going to see information from other pantries apart from that profile information. So we only have a single client record in the system per living human being, but we keep those services private to each pantry. But this is not really a service chart here. This is just a chart of everybody currently in the system, and this is not representative of anything right now because we have just a couple of pantries going. I just wanted you to see what that's going to look like down the road, to see we'll be able to see the concentrations of need within our communities. So this is a game changer in that right now, when we think about where food is being distributed, sort of the most granular proxy we have for that is where your individual pantries are. But flipping that 180 degrees and actually measuring where food is distributed based on where the client need is a little more granular view that'll be really helpful in identifying those concentrations of service need and maybe gaps in availability of distribution. So the other reports are a bit more specific to each pantry, so I don't want to go into those live ones and give you a look at that because that's private to each pantry. But you're tracking in those statistics report, you're tracking unique visitors, you're tracking number of visits, you're tracking the split via anything we've listed here. A split of your clients by county, split of your clients by gender, split of your clients by income source, anything like that. This thing will spit out any sort of carving up your data via any of those questions that we've asked.
So just to give a real world example of how you might apply that, let's say there's a hospital or a free clinic in your community and they're coming to you saying, hey, we'd really like to partner to focus on doing a diabetes workshop among low-income clients. Can you give us an idea of how many people you might be able to share information with to sort of get people to our workshops? You can pull a report in your system to see how many people in your county have self-identified that they have a diabetic concern under their dietary considerations and get that information to share. So it allows for more strategic partnerships and, again, getting resources into your pantry that can just provide better services for your clients.
And that's it, folks. That's a real brief overview. We know we've had a lot of questions from folks that are a little farther out on the timeline in terms of onboarding. This is a big process. Like I said, we're 200 something pantries and pretty intensive training for each of you. So we have staggered it over the course of a little bit so I don't lose all my hair. I have very little left, so I want to keep what little bit I've got left there. But we're really excited about this and the potential for using technology for collaboration. So we talk about the food pantry network. It's all of you guys as partners. Well, we're partners with you, you're partners with each other. So I like to think of this as a tool to facilitate that partnership and collaboration, and just to be able to measure the work that you guys do at a regional level and hopefully gain a little bit better understanding of our clients so that we can adjust what we do and serve them better and meet the need in the most appropriate fashion possible.
And the food bank is going to be here sort of in-depth support and training for you. So this is just a teaser demo. We're obviously going to spend 2 to 3 hours going in-depth with this in a training, whether it's a regional training or, depending on your agency's needs, maybe an individual training if you have a large number of intake workers. And I also want you to be mindful as you're thinking ahead to onboarding on this, what your agency's needs are. So if you find you've got 6 intake workers but you only have 1 desktop, and you're going to find that you need more laptops, or you potentially need assistance with acquiring internet for your pantry to be able to access this, we have the agency capacity grant request for proposal coming out mid-February. That's going to be due mid-March, and we want you to think about those needs, list them in there. The food bank has been working to raise money through private donations to fund those needs, to build your capacity for support for this, but also for your other needs like coolers and freezers. So again, be thinking ahead to what those needs are, communicate that within your proposal due next month, and we'll see what we can do to get you those needs.
All right, that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in.